owned. Every ADR has a known author. Every feature flag has a default. PM has answered every open question. That is not normal. That is something we built together. And I want to name it before we talk about what's next. My concern for this sprint is capacity discipline. We have a generous scope, 25 tickets, 800 points, and the PM has told us to think in outcomes, not days. That is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. My focus is burn down visibility and cross-story dependency sequencing. The calibration aggregate migration in OAS 216T2 is the structural keystone. Nothing in the feedback loop stands without it. I will be watching that gate every day. Prior success I'm proud of. The phase 0 closure. We hit a real audit chain break at sequence 339. Diagnosed it with root cause precision. Annotated it forward only without rewriting history. Fixed the verifier boundary artifact. And shipped 4 tests that will catch a regression forever. That is the quality bar we hold for every ticket this sprint. Let's build something we're proud to observe in the real world.
ADR 062 is MS to K reads. That is not what the original plan intended, and I will not let that drift compound across sprints 2 through 5. OAS.
Owen Pro, product owner. I'll be brief because the PM said it better than I ever could. No work left dangling partial. That is my North Star for Sprint 1. Every story I signed off on has a visible, human observable outcome. Story OAS 215 ships a leap re-engagement event that appears in the audit ledger and can be queried by name. Story OAS 216 ships a calibration aggregate table with rows in it. Not a migration plan, actual rows. Tag source phase equals phase 0, readable by any consumer. Story OAS 217 ships a reasoning macro section in every alignment file regeneration and an abstraction level label that operators can read on faultier responses. Story OAS 218 ships 4 accepted ADRs and a committed architecture document that is for observable delivery facts, not for feature descriptions. My concern is scope creep through good intentions. We have 7 safe pull-in tickets in OAS 219. They are safe because they are data-only, read-only, or doc-only. They must stay in those lanes. If anyone feels a pull-in is becoming a hot bath change, escalate to me and scrumming immediately. Do not absorb it silently. My prior win I want to recognize. The team that drafted the raid entries did extraordinary work. 14 entries, every risk owned, every assumption tested. That gave me the confidence to sign off on the sprint plan without hesitation. Query Quinn and Architect. That risk register is your fingerprints and it shows.
Aiden Orchestra, AI orchestration. I own the hardest conceptual lift in Sprint. 1. Making active inference observable at the dialog surface. OAS 215 is the leap re-engagement hook. When an operator correction arrives, the system must detect it, emit a ledger break annotated class event to the audit chain, and that event must be queryable. That is the moment active inference becomes a real-world observation. Class or evidence, not a design claim. My concern is the operator correction detector. We start with keyword matching. The 14 re-engagement signals in the leap protocol. That is the right starting point. Explainable, deterministic, no LLM judge. But keyword matching has false positives and false negatives. I will be explicit about which operators fire the detector and why. In every TDD validate comment. No hand-waving. OAS 217 is the reasoning macro story. 16 macro tokens that make the agent's epistemic state legible to any operator reading a response. My focus for that ticket is the token budget hard assertion. Silent tier responses must emit 0 macros. That assertion must hold across every tool times action times tier combination. I will write the tests before I write the implementation, and I will not move to green until every cell in that matrix is covered. Prior success, the instruction hierarchy we shipped in L1 base. Precision tier reasoning, high, high mid, high low, giving the agent a mathematically grounded reason to resist injection. That work is now the foundation everything in L2 is building on. I recognise Guardian for the threat model review that shaped that hierarchy. Without the review, the precision tiers would have been aesthetic. They are now load-bearing.
API Endure, Backend and API. I own ORS 216, the calibration aggregate service. This is the only schema change in the entire L2 rollout. A single Alembic migration for one new table. That constraint is a gift and a discipline. My concern is migration reversibility. The PM authorize autonomous migration, but autonomous does not mean unverified. Before OAS 216T2 runs in the container, I will execute a verified backup per the mandatory backup protocol. I will run the migration, verify the table exists with the correct columns, run verify chain from sequence 340 to confirm the ordered ledger is still intact, and record all three outputs as class evidence in the TDD validate comment. The rollback path must be tested before the forward migration ships. That is non-negotiable, and it is in the tickets done criteria. The service skeleton in OAS 216T3 is read only at sprint 1. Get summary, populate from ledger, 5-minute cache, source phase tagging, ledger floor at sequence 340 honoring ADR 058. No writes beyond the populate call. I will not let scope drift pull in the downstream consumers. Those are sprint 3 work. Prior success, I want to call out the SQLite safety layer we built in the earlier production fix sprint. Pool limits, pragma hardening, integrity checks on startup. That work is why I trust the migration will land cleanly. Pipeline, that was your design and your execution. I'm building on a solid foundation because of it.